Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So as sir said, and that my topic for the this particular session is use of hydrodynamic model HACRUS for flood modeling and a hands-on session. So yesterday I already told you that please download the software of HACRUS. Those who are interested to do one small exercise which I am going to show you in this particular session, right? So now my topic is divided into three parts. One is the use of hydrodynamic model, that what the model plays a major role in the various applications in civil engineering in the various fields. Second is the HACRUS software, which is mainly used for flood analysis, flood assessment, prediction of the floods, then sediment, estimate the sediment transport capacity, then water quality index, then analysis of the stable channel design. So these are the various applications which one can be able to carry out or one can be able to do with the help of this HACRUS software. Then last is the flood modeling, right? And being in the Surat city, and those who are from the Surat, so they might be aware that Surat city is one of the city who face the flood 25 to 30 times, right? So I will show you the one small exercise which help you to do the flood analysis, to do the flood modeling with the use of this particular software, right? So first of all, I will just go with the basic of modeling, that what exactly the model plays a role. So model is the process of imitating a real phenomena or process with a set of mathematical formulas. See, anybody can use this software. There are number of softwares related to the hydrodynamic, related to the hydraulic, related to the hydrologic, right? And as the title of our STTP is the advances in soft computing techniques. So nowadays there are many soft computing techniques we have, like artificial intelligence, then machine learning, then Python programming, then robotics, then cyber security. These all are the emerging areas. Right now, from this emerging area, if we talk about the soft computing techniques, then we have the MATLAB, then ANN, Fuzzy, then NeuroFuzzy. These are the various soft computing techniques which are used. And as today in the inaugural function, as I said, that there are so many things which are in a unstructural manner. So for making it to the structural manner, we need to follow a modeling process, right? But that modeling process can be done with the help of some real phenomena. I am taking one example. See, say if I want to do the flood modeling analysis, right? Now, as we all know that if we are doing any project, so what we people are doing, we people are doing the literature survey, we people are doing the data collection, and one after completing the data collection, what we people are doing, we are just inserting the data into the software, and we are doing the computation, or you can say the assessment, and we will get the output, right? But we are not aware about that which equation is used for carried out this analysis, right? So that real phenomena we are not aware. Okay, so for a flood modeling or for any other prediction of a flood or flood assessment or the evaluation of the flood, there are some equation, and this flood modeling can be called can be taken under the hydraulic modeling. Right. So this is under the case of flood routing. As we all know that flood routing is nothing but it is one type of technique which is used to estimate the flood magnitude at a different cross sections of a river. Right. Now in that flood routing, there are two type of routing, that is hydraulic routing and hydrologic routing. Hydraulic routing is that type of routing in which only and only equation of continuity is there. But in the case of the hydrologic routing, there is an equation of continuity as well as the equation of momentum, which can be called as a Saint-Venant equation, right? So here in this particular lecture, I am going to show you about the hydraulic routing, right? So hydraulic routing, it means only the equation of continuity is involved, right? So in principle, any phenomena that can be reduced to the mathematical data and the equation that can be simulated on a computer. Now there are many number of softwares which can be used for analyzing of the flood, for analyzing, for predicting of the flood, right? You are sitting at the home, and if somebody is giving you the data that this much amount of discharge we are going to release from the dam, can you check whether your area is under flooding or not? So you can easily do this type of work when you are sitting at your home, right? Say right now I'm giving you the data that yes, right now we are releasing the water somewhat 10 lakh cubic water from the dam, right? So you just have to enter the discharge data, and if you run the program, if you run the software, you will be able to get the idea that whether my area or whether me myself is under flooding or not, right? I will give you the example of 2006 flood, that in 2006 flood the discharge is 25,768, right? And in 1968 the discharge is 43,924, right? Now this 43,000, that is of 1968, it is the before the construction of the dam, and next is the 2006, that is the construction of the after the construction of the dam, right? Even though, but in the case of the 2006, the damage which caused in the Surat city or the surrounding region is maximum compared to 1968. Even though in 1968 there is a huge amount of discharge which is released from the dam, right? So if you want to predict for the next 10 years, for the next 25 years, there are lots of methods. With the help of that method, you will be able to develop, you will be able to prepare, you will be able to predict the models, right? As you all are aware that there is one method which is called as a flood frequency studies. With the help of some written periods, you can predict, you can prepare a flood, or you can do the analysis of the flood frequency for the 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 25. So these written periods you can do, right? But in the natural phenomena, as subjected to an almost infinite number of influences, the most tricky task developing useful simulation is to determine the most important factors, right? So if we talk about some analysis, right? So now for analysis, we need some proper parameters, right? Now see what it says, that to determine the most important factors. Most important factor means if I want to carry out the water quality modeling. So for that water quality modeling, which are the most important factors? Most important means like pH, BOD, COD, like that. Right. Similarly, if we go for the flood modeling, so for flood modeling, there are certain parameters like discharge, cross-sectional data, Manning's N value, then river beach length, then the bed slope, then the side slope. These are the various important factors which can be used, or which can help, or which are useful for doing the simulation work, right? So mathematical model has made big advances. The user must have good knowledge of flow physics and high problem constraints, because the model abstract from reality and the engineer has to separate the important from the unimportant influences. As I said in the inaugural function about the structural and the restructural, the same thing gonna happen. The same thing is here, which I can tell you that whatever the things means to carry out the model, to develop the model is not that much tough, but for preparing that model, the parameters, the factors which we want to collect, that is the most important things, right? Because sometimes it may happen that data are not easily available. Sometimes it may happen the parameters which we want for the prediction, which we want for the analysis, that are also not readily available. So for that, we need to prepare one particular program, because nowadays we have a Python programming, we have artificial intelligence, we have machine learning. So based on the programming, we will be able to develop the mathematical models, right? Now, what is hydrodynamic model? So hydrodynamic model is an integration of various aspects of physics, engineering and computer science, and it is purely based on conservation of the mass and momentum, field and laboratory observation, which is used to simulate the movement of the fluids. And this model may be of 1D, 2D and 3D, right? So what it says that you can also do such type of modeling work in the laboratory also with the help of observed data, because at the end what we people are doing, we want to go for a validation part also, right? Because whatever the analysis which you are going to carry out, that is called as a calibration. But we need to prove that yes, whether the water level which we got with the help of software, whether it is a correct or not. So for that we need the observed data, right? And based on the observed data, we can say that my model is properly validated. So it is calibrated also and validated also, right? Now, mathematical models of a watershed which are used in the planning, design and operation. Now, as we are all are the civil engineers, we are aware that three things are most important. One is the planning, another is the design, and third is the operation of a project. How to plan the project? What are the factors involved for starting or planning of the project? What are the factors which are used for designing of the project? And how to execute and complete the project, that is the operating. As we are preparing one methodology, That first I will go for identification of the problem, then I can go for a literature survey, then I will go for a data collection. Now in that data collection, it is divided into sub part: general data, preliminary data, secondary data, right? So this is the methodology that how to operate the project, right? So this way one can be able to prepare, or one can be able to use the mathematical models. Now mathematical models are on two scales, one on the field scale and another is on the large scale. Field scale, if you can see on my screen, there are certain examples like planning and designing of the soil conservation practices, irrigation water management, then wetland restoration, then stream restoration, and water table management. So these are all the field scale example which can be used for the mathematical modeling. If we go for a large scale, so large scale flood protection projects, right? That is a flood assessment, flood evaluation, then rehabilitation of the aging dams, then flood plain management, how to manage the flood, water quality evaluation, and water supply forecasting. This is limited. You can do the prediction of the flood, you can do the dam break analysis, you can carry out the water quality modeling, you can also carry out the estimating the sediment transport capacity. You can also do the analysis of the Scour Bridge. Today in the morning, Professor Azamutullah sir has already discussed with you regarding about this Scour Bridge. So that also you can carry it out with the help of HACRUS software, the software which I am going to show you today. Now there are certain categories of the mathematical models. It is classified into three parts. One is the type, another is the time factor, and third is the treatment of data uncertainty and variability. Now there are two types. One is it is based on the empirical and mechanistic. Empirical means purely data analysis. Means we have to collect the data, right? We will enter that data into the software and we will get the output. That is called as a purely empirical analysis. Second is the mechanistic approach. Mechanistic approach means certain equations are involved based on the theory. It is not directly can be worked out or directly can be done with the help of the data which we got from certain agencies. We need to apply some equation. We need to develop some equation, right? So that is how we can do. It is based on the theory. Take the example of Darcy's law. Q is equal to K into I into A. So that is purely based on theory, right? Second type is the classification is the time factor. Time factor says that there are two types. One is the static, that is the steady state, and another is the dynamic. Steady state means they are time independent, right? They are not independent on time. But in the case of the dynamic, they are dependent on time. If your time get vary, the behavior will get changed, right? So you can take best example, steady flow analysis and unsteady flow. What steady flow? Discharge remain constant throughout the area. And what is unsteady? Discharge may vary from time to time, or you can say throughout the area, right? With respect to time, right? So same thing, time factor plays the major role in this mathematical model also. And last is the most important, that is the treatment of data uncertainty and the variability. See, data uncertainty, it is not possible to get all the data in a particular one phase only, right? Sometimes it may happen you will get missing data also. The best example is the rainfall data. If you are collecting the rainfall data and in some places if there is no any gauging station, then you won't be able to get the proper data from of that particular place, or you can say of that particular region, right? So treatment of data uncertainty and variability is divided into two parts, deterministic and the stochastic. Deterministic do not address the data variability. So if there is any missing data, if there is some variability in the data, it will allow you. But in the case of the stochastic, it will not run your model. First, you have to sort out your missing data. First, you have to sort out the variability in the data. Then afterwards, it will allow you to run your model, right? So these are the three important factors, or you can say three important categories of the mathematical model: type, time factors, and data uncertainty and the variability, right? Now, these are some of the model which I am going to just show you, that discuss with you, and then afterwards I will switch over to the HACRUS software. So this is one of the flow 2D model which is used for, which is also called as a mud flow, and it is initiated in 1988 to conduct a federal emergency management agency flood insurance study of an urbanized alluvial fan in Colorado. Right, and this software is used for flood modeling as well as for the rainfall runoff modeling. right? Sometimes it may happen that one software is specific only for the one purpose, like flood modeling, right? But this is one of the software which can be used for the rainfall runoff modeling also. So if you can go for this particular software, so you will be able to carry out the flood modeling, you will be able to carry out the rainfall runoff modeling. Now, what kind of data you need for rainfall runoff modeling? So that I have written in the third point, that it has the component for the rainfall, channel flow, overland flow, street flow, infiltration, levees, sediment transport, storm drain, and other features. So these are the input data which can be used for carried out such type of analysis. So if you want soil data for rainfall runoff modeling, if you want wind data, humidity data, so that can be used for the rainfall runoff modeling, because in rainfall runoff modeling for the runoff, you need all kind of data, right? And the model utility is experienced through its application to the diverse flood problems. Now, second is the Mike 116. Flow2D is the freely available software, open source software, and the modified version of Flow2D is the River Flow, that is also available on the website, and it is also freely downloadable. It is open source. Now next is the Mike software. Now Mike is one agency. Those who are those who offers the software Mike 1.1, Mike 2.1, Mike 3.1, then Mike 1.2, then Mike 1.3. These are the various Mike software, but it is not freely open source software. They have some particular package cost, that is the 15 lakh cost. If you want all the mic version, then it may cost up to 15 to 20 lakhs, right? But if you want only one module, if you are interested to go for mic 1.1, that is used for the river flood modeling, then it may cost something around 3 to 5 lakh, 3 to 5 lakh, right? So this is also one of the software which can be used for river modeling, for simulating the flow, water level data, water quality, sediment transport. This is similar to the HACRUS. Only the difference is HACRUS is freely open source software and Mike 1.1 is the package software. Means it will cost something in the 3 to 5 lakh, right? And this is also very easy software. If you are aware about the HACRUS, then it is very easy. And this is also used for the floodplain mapping, then 1D river modeling, or sediment transport, water quality. Whatever the features which is given by the HACRUS, the same features offering by Mike 1.1. But in this, the only one drawback is it is the not giving you the open source software. Right, now I am going with the one exercise, one case study which I am going to discuss with you with the one exercise. Now you can see what is flood. All are aware about the flood. That flood is can be defined as a relatively high water flow which can overtop the natural or the artificial bank in any portion of the river or the stream. Right, now if you can see the images on my slide, that is the flood of 2006, which is faced by the Surat city on 8 August 2006. Okay, you can see the first photo, that is the release of water from the dam. You can see the height, you can see the peak, that how much amount of water which is released from the dam you can see, and that is the 25,000 cumac, and it is something around 9.09 lakh cusack water which is released from the dam like this in this particular flow. This is one of the area near the Adajan. Right, you can see this complex is up to this. You can see the people also. Half of the people are under water. You can see. Third photo, you can see the bridge. It is at the top level. If some amount of water is released from the dam, you can see the bridge is also get overtop. And the last image, it is a very well known. Those who are from Surat, they are aware. This is the Swaminarayan temple near the Sardar bridge. You can see half of the Swaminarayan temple is under flooding. And this is the real case study of Surat city of 8 August 2006. Right? That's why I told you, even after the construction of the dam, this flood, in this particular flood, 85% of the Surat city is under flooding. 85. But if you compare it with the 1968 flood with 15 lakh cusack before the construction of the dam, the damage is very less compared to 2006, right? According to the study of hydrology, river is defined as a natural stream flow in a channel, and whatever the new stream reaches which are going to be designed or which are going to be constructed, it should be dynamically stable and should have the geomorphic properties, and these properties are the characteristics of the natural streams in a similar settings. Similar settings means it should have a geomorphic properties, means side slope, then bed slope, then the B15, B45, then B80, which are the most important property, which can be called as a most important property for getting a dynamically stable new ridges, right? And it should be hydraulically and ecological compatible with the contiguous upstream and the downstream, which is, see, river will be like this, right? So this is your upstream side from where the water is going to flow, and this is your downstream side from where that means we can say this is your inflow and this is your outflow, right? So from inflow and outflow, we can get the change in stored delta S is equals to this I minus O, that O minus I, outflow minus inflow will give you the change in the storage, right? So this is the say, and this is the only river case, right? But if there is a bridge in between the river, then there will be some another case. I told you now that you can do the dam break analysis. So if you considering the bridge, then you have to go for a dam break analysis. Dam break analysis. But if there is no bridge in your river, then you can easily carry out the or develop the model, right? So as we all know, there is a rapid advancement in the computer technology as we people are living in a virtual era in the digitalization. So there are many research in the numerical techniques, various 1D, 2D hydrodynamic models based on the hydraulic routing have been used or developed in the past for flood forecasting and the inundation mapping. How to prepare the map, that we will discuss in my next session along with my research scholar, Mr. Chirag Ladavia. Right now, I'm just going to show you that how the HACRUS model can be used and how it can be used. So this study focuses only on the hydrodynamic model, which be able to predict the flood levels in the low-lying areas for flood forecasting, flood inundation, and the flood hazard. Now, if your area is under low lying, right? So whenever there is a heavy rainfall, your area will get under flooding. If it is not under flooding with the release of water, but it may get under flooding due to the backwater, because sometimes it may happen the gates are closed, right? So whatever the water which you have from the storm drain, which is going to with the help of storm drain, it will not get out, right? So what that water will get back, and due to that backwater, low-lying area will be face the flood because of this, because the storm drain outlet are closed and they have no any other way to wash out the water. Okay, so whatever the remaining water will be there in that particular region or in that particular area, it will get back up, right? And due to that, the flood may happen. What is the significance of the research? Means one, if anybody is interested to go for any research work, then you can go for a restoration of the rivers, increase the carrying capacity of the river, prepare a right model which shows the flood water surface profile, and assessment of the flood forecasting. These are the various significance of the research. Many research studies have been taken out to address the impact of the flood, inundation, as well as the flood hazard. And see, these all can be considered into the climate change impact, right? Because nowadays it is a very broad topic and vast topic, that is the impact of climate change, right? Because we are right now, before few years back, we are very much aware and we can able to predict the climate also, right? By using some data or with the help of some rainfall pattern or like that. But nowadays we cannot predict, because you can see before few days back there is a rainfall in the city, Surat city, right? So we are not predicting, right? We will not able to, because before few years back such type of situation is not there in the particular region, right? So these all things we can say that it will be under the case of the climate change, right? So you can prepare a right model. You can also prepare a flood risk and the flood hazard map using the GIS. You can use the ArcGIS or the QGIS and HackGeoHMS, right? Then the need for improving the carrying capacity of the river and calibration on the validation is carried out for evaluating the flood mitigation effect by considering the existing and the proposed water storage, right? Now, what are various area of application? As already I discussed in my starting of my slides, that one will be able to carry out the hydrodynamic models, and this work you can do. Then water quality modeling, then advection dispersion modeling, and sediment transfer. So this much work you can do with the help of this particular software, that is the HACRUS software, right? Now I think I will start with the software, that is the hydrodynamic model. I will just give you the brief, and then afterwards I will switch over to the software because it will take time for short exercise. That's why. So this HACRAS is the open source software, and the full form of HACRAS is Hydraulic Engineering Center River Analysis System, and it is developed by US Army Corporation of Engineers. 1995, the first version of HACRAS came into the market, that is 4.0, and today, as on date, there is a 6.1 version, that is the beta version is available on the website, which yesterday I showed you, shared the link in your group, right? Now, what is the history? I'm not going into the history. This is the modeling system that what one can be able to carry out the model, that is the 1D river hydraulics, then graphical user interface, steady and unsteady. Okay, so now I'm just going with the software. Just confirm me whether the software screen is visible to you or not. Okay, so I hope the software screen is main window is visible to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Another thing, I am showing you on this PDF. This PDF is one HACRAS exercise. You can see on my screen geometric data, calibration data, 1D steady flow. This is the HACRAS exercise, and these are the readings, right? Now I will go with the exercise. You can see this is the main window of the HACRAS. I will go with one by one. That what first of all, whenever you are going to start with the project, you can see on my screen that it shows the US customer units. Right, this is the US. So now we people are from India, so we need to change from US customary from the system international. So you can see the go to the option menu and click on the unit system and just click on system international and click on OK. Once you click on OK, it will ask you that your all the units will be converted into this. So you just have to say it. Now you can see it changed from US customary to SI unit, right? Now before starting with any kind of project, first to give the name of your project. Okay, so go for a new project and write the name. Right now I'm writing the name ASCTCE 2020. Okay, and I'm just clicking on the OK and yes. Now you can see my project name is already there on my screen. Now this is the first step to give the project name. Second step to draw the river reach. How to draw the river reach, that I will show you. So you can see one by one I will show you the option. First option shows the open an existing project. If you have any ongoing project, if you have any existing project, then you can go with this, right? Second option says save whatever the work you are doing, you can save it. Second option. Third option, which now we have to start, that is the geometric data. In this particular window, you will be able to draw the river reach, right? That you need to inform the software that this is my river, these are my cross section, this is the bridge, this is the length of the cross section, these are my cross sectional readings. Now what is cross section? Okay, that also I will show you that which type of data you have. Okay, so now for one example, I will show you that how to draw the river reach. So just click on the river reach option. So you can see your cursor is converted into the pencil. Right, now you can draw the river reach either from this direction, either from this direction, right? So now I am starting my river reach from this direction. I am drawing like this. Okay, you can see. Now once you draw, you have to double click on it. So it will ask you that what is your river name? So I will write river name is Tapi River. And what is my river reach name? I will give the name as a Sardar Bridge. And I click on OK, the name will be reflected on my screen. Right, now you have one question, yes, sir, that if we have another tributaries, this is only one continuous river, but if you have any tributaries from this side, again you can click on this option and you can draw the river reach. Computer will ask you, software will ask you whether you want to whether you want to join this or not. So if you click yes, then your flow will get divided. Your flow will get divided. Say I'm just drawing the diagram on my screen, so you will get the idea. Pointer, yes. See, I draw this type. 1 minute. I have draw like this. Okay. Now, if you have questions, sir, if we have any tributaries in between of the river, you can draw with the same option like this. Once you draw like this, the software will ask you whether you need to join these tributaries along with main tributaries. You need to click yes. because your flow is from this direction, and it will, after reaching up to here, it will distribute over here and here, means in this direction and in this direction, right? So this way one will be able to draw the cross sections like this. Okay, so up to this, if you have any kind of doubt, you can unmute yourself, you can write in the chat box, right? So this is the second step. First step is to give the name of your project. Second step is go to geometric data window and draw the river. This is your second step, right? Now we will go to the third step. Now we need to inform the software that these are my cross section. So you can see on my left side of the screen, and that is a option, that is the cross section. Click on that cross section. You will have this type of window on your screen, right? Once you have on the screen, you need to go for an option and click on add a cross section. So they may ask you that what number of cross section. So now if you can check my data sheet, I will show you my data sheet. This is my data sheet. Okay, so I will give the name 0. I will give the name. Yes, I will give cross section number 1 and okay. Now you can see on my screen it is written 1. Now I will explain you this, that what it says. See, station and elevation. Station means I am standing with the staff, that is my station. Elevation means with the help of theodolite, whatever the reading you will got with the help of staff, that reading is the elevation. Elevation is called as a bed levels. Now how? That also I will show you. See, this is your river cross section like this, right? So this is the elevation. Means if person is standing with the staff, he will get this here reading, this reading, this reading, this reading, this all readings you will get. Now this is the data sheet. This type of data, this is the data sheet of Surat City Tapi River. See, this is the Tapi River cross section. See, station means I am standing at 0 point, my elevation is 25. I am standing at a 10 point, my my elevation is 14.6. My station, I am standing at a 20 meter, my elevation is 13.8. Now how? See, I am standing at 0, my reading is 25. I am standing at 10, my reading is 14.6. Like way, if you can take the 80 readings, you will get the whole cross sections of river. In each and every cross section, there are 80 readings. And you all are aware that we are doing the we are visiting the site, hilly area like Mount Abu, Saputara, then Pavagadh for the theodolite survey. So this is the surveyed cross section. So to do the surveyed cross section, you need the theodolite and the star. Okay, now we will go with this example. So you can see the exercise. My chain is 0, right? So I will just rename my channel 1 minute and rename. I will give you the name 0. So first 1 minute 0 1 3 4 5. Okay. Okay, one is also okay. Now you can see this 0 meter, 20 meter, 40 meter, 60 meter, 80 meter, and 100 meter. These are the 4 cross sections, and these are the chainage, right? So now I need to enter the data. So you can see this is downstream reach length. You can see the cursor on my screen. This part I have already discussed. This part. Now I will go with this downstream reach length. Downstream reach length means what is the distance between one cross section to another. Okay, I will show you the image also. See, this is my cross section. This is my river, right? And this is my first cross section. So at first cross section, the distance will be 0. But now when I go for next cross section, I need to enter the distance between 1 and 2. Now you can see there are 3 options: LOB, channel, and ROB. LOB means left overbank. Channel means this is the channel where you can see the water. It is called as a channel. This is left LOB. This is right LOB. Means overbank and right overbank. So this is the reach length. So if I enter the first cross section, I have to enter 0. I need to enter the value 0. Now next is the Manning's value. How one can decide the Manning's value? If you have time, if you have data related to the soil sample, then you easily can carry it out. You can easily get the value of N for your particular river, right? Because for getting the value of N, you need to go for the analysis, bed material analysis. You need to collect the sample from the uh, uh, river area, either from the starting of your area, either in between of the area, or either at the ending of the area. Collect the sample, bed material sample, do the sieve analysis. Based on that, you can be able to carry out the Manning's N value. But if you don't have any time, if you don't want to perform such type of work, then there is one book which is very well known, Flow in Open Channel, which is by K. Subramaniam. In that book, chapter number 2, page number 25, there is one table which is given. Based on the material, the value of N is categorized. If your bed material is gravel, take the value 0.02. If the bed material is sand, take the value 0.01. If the bed material is clay, take the value. Like that, you can take the reference of the Flow in Open Channel book and you can write it. Right. Next is main channel bank station. Now you need to inform the software that my station is starting from 0 and ending at 20. Right now I am not mentioning the data, that's why it will not take 0 and 20. You can write. See, it is what it says. Station for overbank 0 was not found, because right now I have not entered the data. Right. So now I will enter the data, then afterwards I will discuss with you. So you can see 0, 20, 40, 60, 80 and 100. Okay. So at 0 it is 4. Then at 20 it is 2. At 40 it is 0. At 0. At 60 it is 1. At 80 it is 3. And at 100 3.5. Now what entered that I will show you. Now you can see 0 meter it is 4. Means I am standing at 0 meter, my reading is 4. I am standing at 20 meter, my reading is 2. I am standing at 40 meter, my reading is 0. I am standing at 60 meter, my reading is 1. Similarly, 80 and 100. Right? Now I can enter the Manning's value. See, I am entering the Manning's value 0.0. This is for my exercise I am just giving you 0.020. 0.020, 0.020, 0.020. Now my starting station is 0. And what is my ending? 100. So I need to enter 100. You can see, right? Now if I apply the data, you can see this type of cross section will be there. And see, don't be happy. There will be not any 6 reading. The reading will be like this. You can see. You can also enter this also. I will show you 1 minute. I will also show you how to enter this. You can do copy and just select the window of Hackers like this and paste it. Now if I can apply the data, you will get original cross section of Tapi River. You can see. Just wait for a while. 02, 1 minute, 02, 830. You can see. Yes, here. Yes, this is the cross section. Right? So this is the real cross section of a Tapi River, of Sardar Bridge. The data sheet which I showed you, that you can see station and elevation which I entered in this software, you can see this is the cross section. Right? So you can see how many number of readings? It is 86. Means 86 times they have changed their position from 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 like that. And you have to take the readings like that. Okay. Now again, I will go with my exercise and I will enter the same reading. So you will get the idea. 0, 20, 40, 60, 80 and 100. And here 0, it is 4, then 2, then 0, and at 60, 1. I will also share this exercise in the group. Okay, so if you want to perform or if you want to do the exercise, you can do, right? Okay, and again I will write here 100 and do the apply data. Right, now I will just show you like this. Okay, cross section data, 1 minute, and you can see. Right, so this is the cross sectional data number 1. Similarly, we need to follow the same process for number 100, number 200, number 300, number 400, like that. Okay, so now again I will go with option, add a new cross section, and cross section number I will give you like 100. Okay, so you can see the screen, everything is get changed. Now distance between one cross section to another, this is the second, so you need to enter the 100 station 40, 60, 80 and 100. Now you need to enter the data, that is 4, 3, 1, then 0, 2 and 3.8, right? Your station starting is 0 and ending is 100. Do apply data, you will get the data. So now you can see on your screen 1 and 100, two cross section you have added. If you want to check whether in my river the cross section is reflected or not, so you just exit this screen. You just exit this screen, you can see. Okay, this is number 1 which I enter first, and this is number 2, that is 100. Okay, similarly if I need to enter the another, okay, we will enter the next also cross section, add a new cross section 200, 420, 40, 60, 80, 100. I will just complete it fastly. If you have any doubt, then let me know, because it will take time for entering the data. 4, 2, 1, 1 and 3, right? And here also 100, 100, 100, 0 and 100. See, if your station readings are same, then you can copy this also. See, it is written copy current cross section. It will ask you the number also, river station 300, but you need to change this value only. Okay, I will change it number 300, 4, 300, yes. So 20, 40, 60, 80 and 100, right? And the elevation is 41110. Just click on apply data. Again option, copy current, view name 400. Click on OK. First delete all those value and now write down new value of 400, 43013, and last is 3. Okay, apply data. Again go to option, copy current, view name 500. Click on OK. Again delete all those value and write 421, 421, 0, 1 and 3.8. And here maybe by mistake it is this, apply data. Now you can see all your cross section here, it is written. You can show, you can see all those 200, this is 300. Okay, now again I will go with option, copy current, and name will be 600. Okay, again I will remove all this and will go with new one, 410, 410 and 1, 1 to 3.8, 1 to 3.8 and apply data. Again I will go with the copy current cross section, the name is 700. Okay, and again I will go with this and will give the reading of 700, 4210, 4210, 1, 3.8. You can see apply data. Again option, copy current and give name 800. Okay, delete all this and 431, 431, no sorry, 0, 1, then 3, 3. Again apply data, option, add copy. If the readings stations are same, then you can copy it, right? But if the stations are not same, then you need to enter with a new one. 4110, 23. Apply data, copy again, number is 1000, last one. Delete all this, one, that is 4201, 13. Apply data. Now if you close this, you can see, right? This is the from 1, this one is 0, right? This one is 0. 1 minute. Now, if this, yes, you can see. Right. So this is about the cross sections from 0 to 1000. So this way the cross sections you can draw with the help of the data. Now let me tell, if any questions up to this, then let me know. If you have any questions up to this step, then tell me. We can discuss. Otherwise, I will continue. Shall I continue? Or any question or any doubt or any query? Okay, so I think there is no doubt. So now this is the first step we have completed. Save the geometric data, give the name ASCTCEGEO and click on OK. Now you can close this screen. So you will reflect it on your screen. That is the ASCTEGEO, means your geometry data is now clear. Now you can see on my exercise screen, I have some boundary condition and that boundary condition. So now we have to carry out the 1D steady flow analysis. How to carry out 1D steady flow analysis, that I will show you. Right. Okay, now you can see on my screen, this is the geometric data which we have already entered and which we have completed. Now we go for 1D steady flow analysis. So from where? So you have to click on edit option, go to the steady flow data, right? You can have this type of screen. Now here you can see what are the various tab used for, right? You can see enter / edit number of profile up to 32,000 maximum. Means up to 32,000 you can enter the flow data. If I can write here 5, you can see 5. PF means flow profile. Discharge 1, discharge 2, discharge 3, discharge 4, discharge 5, like that. But if you have only one discharge, then write 1 and like this, you can see. Second is the reach boundary condition. You can see there are 4 options. Known water surface, critical depth, normal depth, and rating curve. What do you mean by known water surface elevation? If in your area, I will show you, if in your area, if you have known water surface elevation, means you have the data of your river water surface elevation, right? Say this is your river, right? Now you have the water surface elevation up to this, you have the data, then you can directly enter this, right? You can click on that, see it is written. Up in this particular discharge, when you enter the discharge, see I am entering the discharge also, 1 minute. In my exercise, it is already written that I have to go for 50 cubic. Okay, so I will write 50. Right now, boundary condition. Now go for this. Now you can see it is written that if I release the water 50 meter cube per second, what is my known water surface elevation? So if you have that data, then you can easily enter. When you enter this data and if you run the model, then software will tell you whether or your area is under flooding or not. This is the first boundary condition. Now what about the second? Second is a critical depth. If you go for a critical depth, boundary condition, then in that you need to enter the value of critical depth, that this is the critical depth value, like 0.45, like 2.3, like 4.5. This is your critical depth. So if the software when reaches up to that particular value, then the software will tell you this area or this cross section is critical, right? Second thing is normal depth. In normal depth, you need to enter the slope, right? You can see it is written enter the upstream slope, right? But let me clear you the one point that the area I am drawing the river. See, this is your river. So on the upstream side, the water is going to flow, and on the downstream side, there will be some boundary condition. So the boundary condition you have to enter on the downstream side. not on the upstream side, right? So on the downstream side, you need to enter the normal depth, because whatever the amount of water is flowing from the dam, it will reach out at a certain position. Means it will wash out with the outflow. Means at the end, right? So that I show you that water is flowing into this in this direction, and it will go out in this particular direction, and this is the outflow, right? So you need to enter now. This also I have already written in my exercise, that is the 0.0256. So I will enter 0.00256 and click on OK. So you can see it is written. Rating curve. Rating curve is nothing but it is a graphical representation between the discharge versus time, right? So if you have a number of flood events, right, 50 meter cube, 60 meter cube, 80, 90, 100, like that, then you can have a rating curve like this graph. You will get a graph, right? So this is the boundary condition. Once you select the boundary condition, once you finalize the boundary condition, then you can click OK. Okay, once you click OK, go to file menu, save the data, give again ASCTCE. Okay, now you can see on the screen, it is already over there, that ASCTE steady. Now you have to run your model, right? This is only the data interpretation, data adding thing which we have done. Now we need to go for a first analysis. So I have to go for a run, click on steady flow analysis, give short ID, that plan, compute it. Now you can see the analysis has started and it will complete within a second. See, it is completed, right? Now it is completed. Now what is the result? You need the result also. So close this window, close this also. Now these are the options from where you will get the output. If any error, then also you will get. So now you can see I have already shown one table in my exercise PDF. The same table you will get, but with certain values. I'm showing you. Yes, you can see. Right, and I'm showing you my table, and you can see this. Right, now here you can see water surface elevation 2.19, and here you can see 2. It means that the value of Manning's N which I took is not proper for this analysis. Right, you can see the all value 2.0, 1.98, 1.91. So none of the value is same. Right, so this is your calibration work. Whatever the work which you have did, that is called as a calibration. Now you need to check the validation. These are the observed value which you have in your hand, right? But you didn't got this output in the software. So for getting that, what we have to do? We have to change the value of Manning's N. Now what value we have taken for the study? Again we go to the cross section. What we have taken? 0.02. Let's start with 0.025, because range I have already written in my. You can take the value of N from 0.020 to 0.03. So I am taking 0.025. So you need to change in all the cross sections, and again you have to run it, right? So I'm just changing the value. Apply data. Apply data. Apply data. Okay, this is 100. Apply, and this is number 1. Data. Okay, again you need to go for exit, and again you go for save. Once you save it, again you have to run steady flow. First close this window, compute it, it will again compute it. Okay, so this is close. Again close it and open the. See, the value get changed. You can see Once I have changed the value of n, you can see the value get changed. 2.12, here 2.19. Before the analysis of 0.02 Manning's value, at that time you got 1.98, here 1.98, right? But when I change the value of n, you can see it is 2.09. So now it means that we need to again increase the value of n, right? So again I am going to the software, go to the cross sectional window, again go to this. Now I am taking 0.25 instead of 25 I am taking 28, right? Apply data. Apply data. Apply data. Apply data. Next. If you get the same value which I gave you in the exercise, it means that your model is properly validated, right? Because we have selected the value as per the gravel, right? But I have already run this model. I have already validated this model with the proper end value, and after that I have wrote the answer, right? So this is one exercise. If you interested to do, then I will share this sheet in your group, so you can do at your home, right? You can check it. Just checking all the values get changed or not. Okay, changed. Exit again. Save this geometric data. Close this window. Run the analysis. Right? I need to close this. Now compute it. Computation is completed. Again, go to the output table. Now you can see you got the value. See, 0.2.18 point difference is there. 2.16, 2.1. You can see, just compare it. 2.05, 2.02, 1.93, 1.89, 1.89, 1.84, 1.84, 1.72, 1.72, 1.14, 1. So if you get this, it means that your model is calibrated, your model is validated with the Manning's value 0.028. Right? Now, another thing is 100 meter cube per second. Now I want to run my model with the value of 100 meter cube per second of flow. Okay, so again what we need to do, close this, go to main window, go to edit option, go to steady flow data, enter the value 100, right? Save this steady flow data, close this, and again run the program and compute it. Computation is done. Now go to results and check the result. You can see at 100 the value is 2.70 to 2.78, 2.76, right? At 1000 then it means that the value of Manning's will get changed, right? You can see at 1000 it is 2.70, but my output is 2.78, means it's more than the value. So we need to reduce the value of Manning's n, right? You can see 2.76, here it is 2.67, here it is 2.66, here it is 2.57, here it is 2.65, here it is 2.37. So with the help of this, at 100 you can see it is 2.21, it is 2.21, but here it is 2.14. At 400 you can see it is 2.45, but here it is 2.37. It means that I need to reduce the value of n. In the previous case, we have increased the value of n, and based on that value n, I have run my model, but value are not getting same, right? So for getting that value, what I need to do, I need to reduce the value of n and again run the model, so that I will get my output like this, right? So it means that for 100 meter cube per second also you are validating your model. So this way calibration and validation of the model can be takes place. Now if you want to see the in a 3D view, that also you can do with the help of your 3D view. See, these are the cross sections. Now what is this? This is the water, and see it is written PF1, means when I release the 100 meter cube per second water, this red line indicates the critical flow profile, right? This green line dotted line indicates the energy gradient line, and this blue line indicates your water surface elevation, right? Means 100 meter cube per second water surface elevation. If you want to see the 3D view, the 3D view also you can see. These are the various options. This is the rating curve. This is the profile. Means in this you can see all the profile together, all the reaches together, right? Like this you can check it. Now this is one tool. This is one tool which Hackers has added the new version, that is a RAS mapper. One will be able to do the flood inundation mapping using this software, right? You just have to draw the river reach, right? And you can directly get the value. See, when I can select this, you can see this is my river reach. These are the cross section. You can see. You got it, right? Now, if I want to run the model, see, if I want to run the model, see, this is my river. You can change the color of river also. Layer properties, right? And in that layer properties, you can change it like this from somewhat like this color. Okay, and you can also change this like that. Okay, and then afterwards you can also have the event condition. Right now, see, only one plant you can see, it is over here, right? All things you can see. This is the geometry, the river cross sections, right? And if you want to run, yes. Now, if you click on this, you can see it will show you that what is the depth of the water by clicking on this, right? So maximum depth, minimum depth, you can also get from this particular value, right? So if you can do the double click on this, just click on this, you can get the depth of the water level also. If you want in a table manner, then also you will get in a table manner. So this RAS mapper is very much useful for flood inundation mapping, or you can say the to get the details about the how much area is getting flooding, what is the depth of that you can easily get from this, right? How this you got, as we have already drawn the cross section over here, right? So that directly you will get, means directly it will enter into this. Similarly, if you don't have any cross-sectional data, say for example, if any area in which you don't have any kind of cross-sectional data, then for doing this type of analysis, you can get the DEM, digital elevation model. With the help of digital elevation model, one will be able to carry out the analysis. One will be able to do the assessment. One will be able to do the prediction, and one will be able to do the evaluation, right? So for that, you need the help of QGIS, you need the help of ArcGIS, in which you will get the, sometimes it may happen that you will get directly DEM, right, from the website. I think from Bhuvan or from Earth Explorer or from USGS, you will get DEM directly from that. But if you don't get the DEM, then you need to prepare DEM with the help of tiles. So from the Bhuvan, you will get the tiles of your area. You need to import it into the ArcGIS or the QGIS, do the process of raster image, then clipping, then flow accumulation, flow direction. Once your DEM get prepared, you can directly import that file here in the Hacker software. There is one option which you can directly import. You have one option here from here, import the data, right? So you can directly import the data into the RAS mapper, and once you get that thing, you can easily go with the analysis, right? Another thing which I want to show you, that is the 3D view. Just I will check in. This is, see, these are the property tables, right? Whatever the analysis you can do. This is the bridge. This is the bridge time series. If you are going for the dam break analysis, then you will get the output in this. Then this is the stage and flow hydrograph. Now this stage and flow hydrograph can be used only when you have the daily discharge data or the hourly discharge data. Hourly discharge data means 3-hour hydrograph, 6-hour hydrograph, 9-hour hydrograph. So if you have that type of data, and if you end, because that is called as an unsteady flow analysis. Right now, whatever I showed you, that is the steady flow analysis. Steady means peak discharge I have used. But if you go for unsteady flow analysis, then you get the data of daily discharge data or hourly discharge data. So if it is hourly discharge data, then it may be 3 hour, 6 hour or 9 hour like that. So if you go for that, then you will get the stage and flow hydrograph, right? Because the boundary condition will get changed when you go for unsteady flow analysis. See, I am showing you. See, when you go for unsteady, the boundary condition you need to enter, that is 2. So one boundary condition on the upstream side, it will be the flow hydrograph, and on the downstream side, it is the stage or normal depth, right? Why this flow hydrograph? Because in flow hydrograph, you need to enter the hourly discharge data. You can see this is hourly discharge data, right? You need to decide the time, date. Accordingly, the computer will take the time in a perfect manner, date in the perfect manner, and you need to enter the daily discharge data or hourly. See, it is written data time interval. So it is hourly, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour, 6 hour, 8 hour. So if you have 3-hour discharge, 6-hour discharge, or 12 hour, or daily 24 hour, then also you can get it, right? And once you enter that data, you will directly get such type of the thing in the window, right? So that is only applicable for the unsteady flow analysis, not for the steady flow. In steady flow, you will use only and only peak discharge. But if you go for an unsteady flow analysis, then it may be the daily discharge data or hourly discharge data, right? Now I will show the this is the plot. Now this is the 3D view which I want to show you. This is the 3D view. 1 minute. This is the 3D view. The geometry needs a terrain associated. Okay. Now see, for 3D view, you need to connect it with the terrain. Terrain means in RAS mapper there is one option. This is terrain. Now for terrain, you need to go for searching your area, right? Create a new terrain option. You can go for it and select the Tapi river or any river which is nearby to your area, and you just select it, and then afterwards you will get a 3D view. So this is the option of 3D view. 3D view of results of the terrain, right? Now this is the rating curve. Rating curve is the discharge versus time graph, right? Discharge versus water surface elevation. Then this is the general profile plot. This is the whole profile. You can see the water is flowing like this, and this is the water, and this is the energy gradient. This is the water surface elevation. This, okay. Then next is these are the cross section. You can change it from here also. See, these are the cross sections which I have entered. Right. So this is only 10 cross section. You will get many number of cross section as per the area. If your length if the area length is more, then cross section will be more. If the length of the river is less, then cross section will be less. See, if I can take the example of one Ambika river of Navsari, South Gujarat, then there are somehow there are 423 cross sections, and the interval between one cross section to another, it is 30 meter. Right. The interval is also based on the area, right? It is not remain same. See, here it is written, I have wrote 100, but for the Tapi river, it is 200 to 250. The average interval between one cross section to another, it is 200 to 250. If you go for a Purna river or Ambika river of South Gujarat, Navsari, then it is 30 meter, right? 30 meter from one cross section to another. So this way, you need to enter the value of reach length, right, in the cross sectional data window. This in this window, right? It may get changed from area to area, right? Okay, so this is the cross sectional data window. Then this is the hydraulic bridge. Now from these you can see there are number of works you can carry out. See, bridge cover of bridge, then uniform flow computation, stable channel design, sediment transport capacity. This all work you can carry out with the help of this software. Now uniform flow, you can see this cross section which you have entered, it is already over here. You can enter the side slope, bed slope. So you can enter this and give the discharge like 100 and apply and compute it. You can see. Now, if you need to check whether my area is under flooding or not, with the help of this water surface elevation value, you will be able to get the idea. Now you can see on 0 it is 4 and on 100 it is 3. And what is my value? 1.37. It means that my area is safe, right? But if you change this value from 3 to 1, 1 minute, I'm just 3 to 1, apply it this. You can see it is over top on this side, right? Because here our value is 1 and the water surface elevation is 1.66. So on one side it is safe, but on the other side you can see it is not safe. It means that this much amount of water get overtop from your area. How much? 0.66, right? So in this particular area or in this particular place, what we need to do? We need to give a suggestion to construct the retaining wall as a structural measure, or either to construct the levees, either to construct the embankment, or either to go for a canal alignment. These all are the structural measure. But if you don't want to go for a structural measure, and if you want to go for a non-structural measure, then you need to prepare a flood zoning. You need to go for a flood warning system. Nowadays, the flood warning system came into the market to get aware to the people that up to this level, this much amount of water is stored up to this level. So like that, they have put the sensor and they have developed the flood warning system to get aware to the people that this much amount of water is there in your particular region, right? So this is the second thing which I showed you, that is the uniform flow computation. So for each cross section, you can have to do the analysis. See, again, I will go for 900. Just I have to click on compute. You can see, right? So this is the very small exercise, very small data set. If you go for a very big data set, which I showed you, this is the Excel sheet, then you will able to get the proper result. You can see there are 90 data. See, this is 90, this is 95 readings. So it is not compulsory that if you have, see here it is 100 reading from 0. You can see from 0 to 1010. It means 101 readings surveyed cross section you have. So this is one type of data sheet, and you have to enter into the software, and then after you will be able to do the analysis with the help of this software, right? So this way one can do the flood analysis. This is the uniform flow computation. Then afterwards, this is the water quality. If anybody want to do the water quality, so for that you need the pH value, you need BOD value, you need COD value, then you need also the location of the well. So this way you can do the analysis of the water quality. Then afterwards you have unsteady flow computation, which already I showed you. This is the steady flow computation, right? This is the sediment transport capacity, right? This is the sediment data, bed gradation, right? You can see these are the various equations, right? One time you have to enter the cross-sectional data, and then afterwards you can do number of work with the help of this particular data, right? Then afterwards, this is the unsteady flow data entry. This is the steady flow data entry, right? And this is the cross-sectional data window, right? So this is about the HACRUS 1D steady flow analysis. If you want to do an unsteady flow analysis, then you need to enter the daily discharge data. In the same exercise, if you want to perform an unsteady flow, you can, but you need to enter the 100 number of flow data, right? Means you want 100 number, because minimum 100 you have. See, minimum 100. You cannot enter. If you don't have minimum 100, then you can write 000 for remaining time period, right? So for that you have, or you want the 100 number of daily discharge data, 100 number of hourly discharge data, or you can say 100 number of 1 day discharge data that you have to enter for this particular analysis. And if you don't have, if you have something 90 data, then for 10 data, from this to this, you have to enter 0000 like that, right? So this way one will be able to carry out the unsteady flow analysis. For the same river reach, from the same cross section, you can do the analysis. And for the downstream condition, you need to enter the normal depth. Normal depth value already I gave you 0.0256, 0.0256 that you can enter directly and you can run the program, right? So this is about the HACRUS 1D steady flow and HACRUS 1D unsteady flow analysis along with uniform flow computation, which I showed you to check whether the cross sections get overtopped or not, or like that, right? So this is about the exercise. This is about the history. These are the abbreviations and the input that what it says. You can see this is the open project. This is the save project, then sediment data, then sediment analysis, then RAS mapper. So this is the abbreviations and the basic terms that what it means, how it can be used, right? Now, you can also get the 3D view, but if you have proper terrain of your area, then you will be able to get, right? And this RAS mapper is very much useful for flood inundation mapping. If you want to check that which area is under flooding, up to how much depth, all the values you will get on the RAS mapper. You don't need to write manually. You will get directly from the RAS mapper, right? So this is the overview of the HACRUS software, that it is a steady one-dimensional and 1D stand finance equation using the implicit finite difference method. This is the equation for the basic, means which are the equation which are involved in the 1D hydraulic modeling, because the model which we have done, that is the 1D hydraulic modeling. So this is the equation, water surface profile from one cross section to the next, and it is with the help of standard step method. And the equation you can see on my screen, that is the energy equation, Z plus Y plus AV upon 2G, AV square upon 2G, which is plus HE. HE is the energy head loss. This is about the geometric data. This type of this type of data you need to enter. See, you can see this is a very long river range, right? This is about the one data set which I have entered, means one of the Ambika river which I have entered. You can see on my screen cross sectional data. This is the steady flow data. See, you can do for a 5 flood event in a single analysis. Means you can carry out this analysis in a one time with all flows, right? This is the boundary condition. You can see run the steady flow. This is the 1D hydraulic modeling. This type of window, this type of result you will get from the software. And this is the view profile. You will get the profile plot like this in the 3D view by all the river reaches. This is the general profile plot versus the channel distance between the velocity. This is the computed rating code Q versus water surface elevation of all the cross sections. And this is the XYZ perspective. You can see the river image. What is the alignment of the river? See, this is called as a river meandering. This is called as a river meandering. If there is a river meandering, then there will be the losses. There will be the losses like contraction loss, expansion loss, like that. Okay. So if there is a river meandering, then the velocity at that particular position will be very high. Right, very high means because water is striking at a certain certain area, and on that particular area and that particular point, the velocity will suddenly increases, right? So in the river meander, there will be the loss may be of expansion or loss may be of the contraction. So if your area having such type of alignment, then you need to consider losses also, right? Then afterwards, this is the detailed output table. Now in detailed output table, you will get the energy gradient elevation, velocity head, water surface, critical water surface elevation, then top width, bottom width, then maximum channel depth, then friction loss, then alpha. This all in the detailed table you will get. This is the summary which I showed you already. Barabar, that this much amount of discharge, this is your minimum channels elevation, this is your water surface elevation, this is your energy gradient, this is the slope, this is the velocity, this is your area of the particular place. So this is the very you can say in a detailed manner, right? These are the website which are used for the particular data sets, and you will also get the cross-sectional data from the corporation offices, irrigation department. Sometimes you will also get from the CWC, Central Water Commissions. The book which I told you, that is the K. Subramaniam Flow in Open Channel, in which you will get the value of N. You can also select the value directly from this particular book. Then you have also one book of open channel hydro, that is Venti Chow, very well known book. In this also there is table. In this, with the help of this table, you can also select the, means you can take the value of N, right? So this is about my session about the HACRS exercise and use of hydrodynamic model. Now, if you have any